All right. Cheers, everyone. It's Amy Mitchell with Houses of Windsor, and you're watching Virtual Tea Time with Amy. And today, my special guest is Sir Adam Fritsch.
Yes.
Welcome,
Hi.
Adam.
Hi.
Thank you
Yes.
for coming on.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Before we get started, we have two pieces of business. First, we're talking about what we're drinking. So I have my Buckingham Palace Garden Party, a very long name for tea. It's delicious.
Buckingham Palace Garden Party.
Yep.
So I don't usually drink tea.
Okay.
But my girlfriend drinks tea every day.
Mm-hmm.
So we have tea, and she drinks yogi tea. So she has the Yogi brand tea.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so this is the one she's drinking now. But she usually has like 5 or 6 different kinds that she drinks.
So you're drinking that one right now, the positive energy?
Yes, sweet tangerine positive energy. It supports elevated mood and energy levels. So I'm going to be super excited, apparently. So.
Yeah, so tell me, what do you think of it, since you don't drink it?
No, it's good. Yeah, it's good. It probably should be. I don't drink a whole lot of anything besides water.
Oh, okay.
And some beer every once in a while.
Some beer.
But yeah, probably something I should do more often.
Yeah, that's right.
I hear it's good for you.
Yeah, I know. I drink tea. I've never liked coffee, so that's been easy. It's not like I had to kick a habit.
I can't stand coffee. I don't know how people. I think people just get used to it somehow, but I don't know. I can't do it. So.
I know. I've had people, like older people, ask me how did I make it through college without coffee. I was like, we had Red Bull.
Yeah, that was something. Yeah, that was a habit I had to get out of. I got out of a couple years ago. You know, I freaking monsters. And it's so bad for you. Yeah.
Luckily, I've not gotten into those, but I've dabbled with some 5-hour energies. But that was mainly when I was just like exhausted mom time.
Yeah.
So where are you calling from, Adam?
Well, I live in Birmingham, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
I've lived here for about 5 months only. So I'll get into. So I might as well get into the story.
Yes, tell me, because I want to know. Yeah, where did you come from, and remind me where all you've been since Indiana.
Yeah, so I grew up in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Moved to Muncie, where you and I met after high school in 2000. I was there for 8 years. I moved to North Carolina in 2009 and lived there for a year. And then moved to Orlando in 2010.
Oh my gosh.
Lived in Orlando for 3 years. So we were there from 2010 to 2013.
Oh my God. And I moved here in 2014. So we barely missed each other.
I know. Yeah. But we lived in Altamont Springs, so right there in Orlando.
Where I live now. I live right next to Crane's Roost.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I don't remember where it is exactly. It was right off the major highway there.
Yeah.
No. The side highway. What is that one? Like the bypass type of road there.
I don't know, is it like 426, 436?
Something like that.
There's numbers running around.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then I moved back to Fort Wayne in 2013 or 14, I think, 2014. And lived there for, until November of this year. I moved to here. So, I have, but I have 4 kids.
Yes.
I have 4 boys. They're 18, 16, 13, and 13.
Oh my God. And I used to babysit them.
Yes. So Caleb graduates this year, and I'll be a college student next year.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I've been I get them every other weekend. So for the last month and a half or two, I haven't gone up to Indiana. But so I just drive up, or I was flying into Indiana.
Oh, okay. Oh,
so,
that's nice.
so I just drive up to Fort Wayne every couple weeks.
Yeah. What kind of drive is that?
It's only like eight and a half hours.
Oh, okay.
It's not that bad. Birmingham's, northern Alabama. So you just go through Tennessee, Kentucky, and up to Indiana.
Okay.
So,
okay.
But so we'll get into, so let's see. Let's get into why I moved here. So I moved here for a woman. We met, her name's Lauren. Lauren and I met on an airplane 2 years ago. Okay. So I was in Jacksonville, North Carolina, and flying into Charlotte, North Carolina. So just a little short flight. And we both were upgraded to first class. So we both sat in the first row of the airplane. I was already on. She got on, had her woman purse, right, her bag.
Yeah.
But she couldn't have it in the front row because there's the bulkhead there. Right. So the stewardess told her to put it up in the overhead. So she said, well, can I move? Like if there's empty seats, can I move to another seat? She was like, yeah, just wait for everybody to get seated. So she finally, apparently she decided to put her bag in the overhead and she came back and sat down. And I made a smart ass comment. I said, well, I knew you wouldn't move. And so we ended up talking the whole flight. Long story short, she asked if I wanted to have dinner at the airport. And I was like, well, I got this to do. She's like, okay. So we got off the plane, and I actually did give her my number and got her number.
That's what I was gonna ask. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got off, and I went to the restroom and was like, what is wrong with you?
Right. That's what I was thinking.
What's wrong with you? You don't have anything to do. Come on. Right. So, I came out going, I hope I could find her. And there she was walking up the hall. And I said, you still want to have dinner? And she said, yeah. So we had dinner at the airport, and then I walked her to her gate and hugged and sent her on her way. She texted me, started texting and said, it was great talking to you. It was great conversation, things like that. Yeah. So we just ended up talking, texting, and then it turned into talking. And then it was about a month and a half or so later, I decided to fly into Birmingham and see her after talking to her every day. And then we decided to give it a go. So that was last June, or not last June, but 2 years ago, June, when I went and saw her, I think. And so we decided to give it a go and try a long distance relationship. And so we did. At the time, I was traveling a lot. Okay. So I was traveling from city to city and all that. So instead of flying home every other weekend, I would just fly to Birmingham.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I'd fly in and out of Birmingham and see her, and then go home and whenever. So so we decided last year sometime that I can still do this and see the boys and have them and all this kind of stuff and live here too. And so so we're making plans. We moved to an apartment together in November, and so we're we had started plans for marriage and things like that until coronavirus. So now it's kind of just waiting and hoping everything goes away. So
now you guys are really living together where you're quarantined together.
Yes, we are quarantined. So but it's nice. So it's nice down here. So, but I am, so I'll get into my job. I work for,
what are you doing? Yeah.
So in February, I was working for Subway restaurants, the corporate office for Subway. So I was an operations and training specialist, opening new stores, training, all kinds of different things. They laid off a lot of people, like over 300 people in February and early February. So I just happened to be one of them. So it was kind of a scary time because you'd started to hear about coronavirus and it was early, and I ended up contacting a guy here that I knew. So I work now for a company called KJ Development, or in other words, it's Subway Development of Northern Alabama. Okay. So Subway doesn't necessarily, they don't do anything with operations for their stores. They actually pay people to do it for them. Okay. So Subway Development of Northern Alabama, KJ Development is we we open new stores. We're in charge of monthly evaluations and training, and then, closing stores. I mean, the whole 9 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So we basically help operate the stores and make sure they're in compliance and, make sure they're clean and all that kind of stuff. So that's the main job. I was hired as, my title is the field development manager.
Okay.
Which it's kind of an evolving term. It was just something they made up. So,
it seems like that could be pretty broad.
Yeah. So, because and I started like March 12th, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 days later, they stay-at-home orders were put in, and so literally for the last month, I've been at home just working from home.
Right.
Because it's a new position, and literally our job is, 75% of the job is in the field.
Mm-hmm.
Out in stores and things. I really haven't had a whole lot to do. So I've been kind of lucky that I still have a job, and I've got to do it. So, but yeah, that's pretty much, that's what I do. I also am in school again, so I'm taking classes. Business administration and management.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah, so I started, when I was young, and then I took a semester or two like 5 years ago, and I thought, I probably ought to keep going. So
right.
Yeah.
Just finish it up one of these days.
Yeah. So it's a good time to do it. I think the evolution of online, classes and all that kind of stuff, before was really prevalent, and so it made it a lot easier. It seems like going forward, online classes are going to be a lot more popular, I can imagine.
Oh yeah.
So
turning that way.
Yeah. So that's what I've been up to. It's been, there's a lot of other things in between there, but
right. Well, let's just say, because I'm trying to think, when did I leave Papa Murphy's? Was that 2007?
Probably, because I left in 2008.
Okay, and I left before you, so it was 7. Yeah,
that's what I was thinking, somewhere in 2006 or 2007. So so Amy and I know each other from Papa Murphy's. So
for like 13 years or longer, I guess.
Yes. So my Papa Murphy story was pretty, it was pretty long. I did 8.5 years with them total.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So when I was 19. When I started with Blaine and when I was with Blaine and Jan, it was 2002, so January 2002. And I started, just like you, I was just they had just opened the store.
Oh, okay.
And so I started as a prep guy and a pizza maker, and then I think it was about a year and a half or so, they made me the assistant manager. And then in 2 years, they made me manager of the store. So, so that would have been 04. So, when you came on, you probably came on in 2005.
I was either 05 or late 04. Yeah. I was already going to Ball State, but I don't remember. And Stephanie brought me in, but I don't remember what. What part of like my freshman year it was.
No. So did I hire you, or did Stephanie? Yeah, I was gonna say.
You did the interview, so Stephanie recommended me or whatever. And I remember sitting on the front bench in the little entryway.
Yeah. That's where I interviewed everybody. I interviewed everybody on the bench up there.
Yeah, but I still like Papa Murphy's was like, one of my favorite jobs, or probably like my favorite job from that time period. I always had fun there.
I know, and that's the thing. I miss those times where it was just, it was very non-political, and you just running the store, and you're having fun doing it, and it was.
Everyone got along for the most part. Like I think. I always got along with everyone, but I think there might have been little tips.
Yeah, there were a couple things, but it was for the most part. People stayed around for a long time. That was one of the things that with that store. We did, and I don't know if you knew or not, but we were for most of the years I was there. For most of the years I was a manager. we were number one in sales in the Midwest.
Oh, awesome.
So yeah, we were, I mean, we were doing, you know, it was, because for me, it was 2 years. For the first 2 years we were there, I started, I mean, it was slow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was one of the first stores in the Midwest. Nobody knew what it was.
Nobody
it just,
understood what it was. Yeah.
It just took so much time to get it going. And then after 2 years, you know, that winter, it just took off. And, but yeah, I think back to that, you know, and it was amazing how many pizzas we kicked out, you know, in a short period of time, and those Friday and Saturday nights.
Yeah. I was thinking like the Super Bowl, and like when we had the heart-shaped pizzas.
Heart-shaped pizzas for Valentine's Day.
Because we'd like prep like 100 of them to just be ready, right? Like,
at least. I know Valentine's Day we would do at least 300 heart-shaped pizzas. And Super Bowl, we would usually do 600 or 700 pizzas total. And then, you know, it got to the point where on a typical Friday and Saturday, I don't know if you remember, but I don't know if you did it or not, but I had 2 people scheduled in the morning from like 9 to 11 just to come in and do all the sauce and cheese and pre-makes and all that kind of stuff.
Wow,
this 2 hours. So, you know, literally, so we would have upwards of 300 or 400, you know, pre-made kind of sauce and cheese stuff already ready to go. And then we pull those carts out at 4:00 and just.
I do remember that. Yeah. So as long as they didn't change up the order on the sauces.
So it was pretty crazy. And then you remember the couple customer service, or no, what they call them, the customer appreciation days. Do you remember doing those?
I don't know. What did we do?
They would do, I think they were running a $3.99 large pepperoni, I think. And I remember the first one we did, it was a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I think. And so Thursday we ended up doing like 650 pizzas, right? So it was a lot. It was busy. You know, it was crazy, but we were able to keep up. And so going into Thursday night, we were like, shoot, we got to get ready for this. This is going to be coming tomorrow hard. So, you know, I think we were there till late, you know, like late 11, 12 o'clock at night, just doing more dough and get all this stuff ready. Friday, we ended up doing total, I think it was 1,000 pizzas, like 1,000 or 1,100 pizzas in the day. We had started on 6 o'clock in the morning. We came back in, started pre-making pepperoni pizzas, had 300 or 400 done. They were gone by like 1 or 2 o'clock.
Oh my God.
And so on that, and you know, we were shredding cheese, making dough. I mean, all this stuff the whole time we were doing it. And then Saturday came around.
Yeah.
Instead of doing like 1,100.
Like the prep work in the back during regular hours.
You're just cutting it, bringing it out front, cutting it, bringing it out front.
I do remember some of those.
You know, and then Saturday we got hit again with 1,100 pizzas, I think, and ran. I remember at 5, it was like 5 or 6 o'clock. The lobby was full of people. I mean, it was absolutely full. And I had to tell people we were out of cheese and pepperoni. Because we had run out, and we were waiting. Actually, somebody brought it from Anderson to bring us more stuff.
Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, it was crazy. So.
Yeah. Fun times.
So do you still keep in contact with anybody?
So actually I was gonna say I sucked this year because Stephanie, her birthday is 4/20, and I totally forgot to text her or anything. So happy birthday, Stephanie.
Oh yeah.
But I think I loosely kept in touch with Heather for a while. Like, we're still Facebook friends and things. So hi, Heather, if you see us.
Yeah.
But they moved, I think, like Oklahoma or something. Yeah. So
they're in Oklahoma.
Far out. Yeah. And then Jessie, I love, like, she always posts cats, like her cats or whatever on Instagram. So I like all of her cats.
I gotcha.
And sometimes she comments on my tea post.
But I only keep, the only person I keep up with, do you remember Garrett?
Oh my God,
Garrett Bray. Yeah, so
you in touch with him? That's good.
Yeah, I keep in touch with Garrett. So that's kind of, because he ended up, when I went to North Carolina, I ended up hiring him and Deb. You remember Deb Mole, to be managers out there. They moved out to North Carolina with me, and until that all fell. That's a whole nother story, the North Carolina. So that was in the middle of the last crisis when everything happened. So that's why I was only there a year. So But
yeah, I forgot.
yeah.
Oh, I keep in touch with Chris, and then I don't actually talk to Richard, but I know Chris talks to Richard.
Oh yeah, yeah. Or Mr. Richard Babcock.
I know. Yeah. I think he might have gotten married last November.
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
I think he's in Arizona or something.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He's calling everyone out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hilarious. But but for those of you who don't know, because I've run into this a lot whenever I mention Papa Murphy's down here, I think we do have some, but nobody seems to know what I'm talking about. I'm like, it's a take and bake pizza. You take it home and bake it. I'm like, I don't understand.
Yeah, so I was part of the group that started the first ones down there. So that's why I moved down there, because I joined another Pop Murphy's franchise. So I think the first one was in Apopka, I believe, is where the first one was. But yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know.
So I want to talk about my hobbies and interests, because that was on the list.
That's right. You tell me.
And this will be a plug. So my favorite thing to do as a hobby is play pickleball.
Pickleball? Okay.
Yes.
Explain.
Do you know what pickleball is?
I've heard of it. I don't really know what it is. So explain.
Okay, so pickleball is a cross between like tennis and ping pong, or table tennis and tennis. So you play on a tennis court that's about the third of the size of a tennis court.
Okay.
Use a paddle instead of like a racket. It's a paddle, like a nice, like a honeycomb paddle. And then you use
than the ping pong paddle?
Yeah, so it's so in between a ping pong paddle and a tennis racket, I would say.
Okay.
And then you use the ball as like a wiffle ball, but it's a little bit harder than like a child's wiffle ball, right? So so that's what it is. But it's it's super fun. People love play. You can play it indoors or outdoors, just kind of like tennis.
Does it have like the same rules as tennis as far as
very similar? Yeah, very similar. So most people play. It started off as like an older person sport because it's a smaller court. You don't have to move around a whole lot, but yeah, you usually play 2-on-2 generally. But it's the fastest growing sport in America. So yeah.
That's awesome.
You'll find I play in tournaments every year. So. I'll go, they have big tournaments all over the U.S. every year in different places. So, they rank everybody just like you do in tennis. So I'm ranked, a certain level. So
you want to tell us your ranking?
I'm a 4.0, but you have to play in tournaments a lot and win and things like that to get higher rankings officially. So, but basically it's like tennis. So tennis has the same rankings where 5.0 is the highest level.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
I play against 5.0 people and win. So, so I can, So that's what I do to keep myself healthy.
So wait, when did you start pickleball and how did you get into it?
2013.
Oh, okay.
So I've been playing for 6 years. My parents started playing. Somebody brought it from Arizona. Some old guy in Fort Wayne brought it from Arizona to Fort Wayne and started it all. My parents have been involved since day one. My dad is the president of the Fort Wayne Pickleball Association and is he's a regional director they have a tournament coming. They did have a tournament and he's a regional director. So they're very involved in it. So I've applied to be an ambassador for pickleball, so I haven't heard back from that. But
that's cool. What would that entail?
It's just mostly promoting the brand, promoting it, and things like that. But I'm going to try to start doing lessons. I'm going to start giving lessons if I can here. Because we have private tennis courts here at our apartment complex, and I taped them off already with pickleball. So. Yeah. Awesome. All right. So we don't have a lot of time left. I have one more thing for you.
I know. I love that you came with notes. So
this is going to be something new for you probably, but we're going to play a game.
Okay.
It's called it's called Stump Amy.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
is this British? Are you going to make me look horrible as an Anglophile?
No, I think you're going to do well. So I did this. I asked Lauren all these last night, these questions. She got them all right.
Really? Okay. And does she love British stuff, or is it not?
She does, but not hardcore, obviously, like you. Okay. So, but she keeps up with it. So, all right, you ready? So these are rules royal children have to follow.
Okay.
And they are true or false questions.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Is it required that they be baptized?
Yes.
Yes, it's true. Bonus, if you
Church of
know.
England.
Yes, who oversees the ceremony?
Is the Archbishop of Canterbury?
That's correct. Good.
Awesome.
Question number 2. They're allowed to call the queen granny or grand.
I think they are, but they might have to say something formal first.
Well, I think that, yeah, possibly you may be correct, but yeah, it is true.
Yeah.
So yes, they are, but they can't do that in public, but they can call her. Yeah. So bonus if you know what Prince William called the queen as a young boy.
Oh boy.
Do you know? This was a hard one. She didn't know. She didn't know the bonus answer.
I feel like I've probably read it in a book somewhere. I mean, I have the whole obsession Prince William.
He was super young, so he really didn't know how to say granny, grandaunt. So he called her Gary.
Gary?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I know. 2 heirs are allowed to fly together.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're asking?
True or false? 2 heirs are allowed to fly together. 2 heirs to the throne.
Well, only up until a certain age. So, George is allowed to ride with Prince William until he reaches a certain age, and then they have to go separate.
That's right. So technically false. Yeah, right? Yeah. So bonus, is the queen allowed to grant permission for them to fly together?
I'm going to say no.
No, yes is the answer.
Oh,
she is. So, yeah. So, all right, number 4. I only have 5. Young boys are expected to wear pants.
No, they have to wear the shorts.
That's right. Bonus if you know why they should wear shorts.
Oh, shoot. Is it just to make them stand out as kids? I don't know.
Nope, because pants used to be viewed as middle class.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And last one, they aren't allowed to play Monopoly.
False.
It's true. So apparently at some point, the family had, when it first came out, they played Monopoly, but then there were arguments that happened, and it created competitiveness. So the queen said, "You're not allowed to play Monopoly anymore."
That's hilarious. I have a friend that is from Melbourne, Florida, and she said it's her. I won't mention names, but she has 3 other siblings, and she said they were no longer allowed to play Monopoly in the family because her and her brother ruined the game for everyone. Others could play for fun, but they couldn't.
It tends to be pretty common with Monopoly, I think. So, so of course, those are, that's information given, it seemed like a reputable article. So it had 40 different things apparently, but I picked out 5. So
that's amazing. Thank you so much for doing that.
That's awesome. Called Stump Amy. So
so if anybody else wants to get their questions together.
That's right. It keeps you humble. It keeps you, make sure that you're studying and keeping up to date.
That's right. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
anyway. You okay. Well, I'm now I wish I would have prepared Papa Murphy's pop quiz.
So go ahead.
How many of the specialty pizza names can you remember?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I remember 2 of them.
All right. So we have the cowboy.
Yep, that's what I remember.
There's the gourmet pizzas, right? The gourmet chicken garlic, the gourmet vegetarian, and then is there another gourmet one? Oh, the gourmet classic Italian.
Okay.
So I remember that one. That was one of my favorites. I remember we had the rancher, but that one was optional, I think.
I know. We had the Chicago style. I remember that.
The Chicago stuffed pizza. So you had the Chicago, the Big Murphy, the Big Murphy, and then the chicken and bacon ranch, I think was the other one. And then I'm trying to think, what was the Supreme called? Maybe it was just a Supreme. I don't remember. I'm sure we had something like that. We had the all meat, so there was the all meat pizza. Gosh, I bet I could remember it's on them too. I remember the cowboy was pepperoni, sausage, mushrooms, and olives with the herb and cheese blend.
because that was my favorite, except I always got it without sausage.
Let's see, the all meat had salami, pepperoni, sausage, beef, and hamburger.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And then you had the delight pizzas. So those ones, right? Like the delight. So you had the chicken and bacon artichoke,
Was it the veggie delight?
The Mediterranean delight and the veggie delight. Yeah. I remember the pan. We were doing pan pizzas.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, the pans. Those are good.
The pan. When we did the Sicilian pan pizza when that came out.
I know. Was that a limited thing? Like, did they stop making those?
No, I don't know. It's when I haven't been into one in a long time.
Okay,
I'm actually a vegan now, so I don't even eat meat anymore.
I think I did see a post of yours the other day.
Yeah, I just did it recently. I started.
What's your vegan story?
Oh,
just started?
Lauren is always eating very clean. So she's super into making sure she doesn't eat preservatives and things like that. So I don't know. When I moved down here, I just decided, well, I think I'm going to try vegan. And, and I did. And, it's easier these days to do than years ago.
Right.
If I went into there and showed you what the freezer was, we have Nashville hot chicken. There's beef, there's crab cakes, there's all this stuff without meat in it. So it's all plant-based proteins that now they make that are, so you can make, the food is, just long as you take time and make it. It's really good stuff. Everybody thinks, you're crazy because you don't eat meat anymore, but I kind of watched, there was a documentary on Netflix called Game Changers too that kind of helped change my mind a little bit. So
I haven't seen that one. A couple of years ago, like it was before I was pregnant with Piper, but I watched like 3 different documentaries or whatever on Netflix, and then decided like I was going to try and do the vegan thing. And I did for a little bit. I found the hardest part is finding decent cheese that's not real dairy.
Yeah, these days, the cheese is not as good.
Quite figured it out yet.
They're still struggling with it a little bit. Of course, it doesn't have the same melting properties and all that stuff, but there's I don't know which grocery stores. We go to Publix. We get a lot of it from Publix. They have a little vegan section. But you can obviously go to Whole Foods too. But Publix is a good place. They have a good vegans, but they have mayo and they have dressings that are vegan. They have Caesar and ranch and they have all that stuff. It's really not. And there's our favorite brand of proteins, of plant-based proteins is called Gardein. So if you go to the freezer section, you can see, they have all these Gardein products. And of course the Impossible burgers are, I haven't been able to find anybody that had beat those plant-based Impossible burgers in the store. So
okay, I'll have to try that. I think it was Gardein that I had like the chicken patty things those taste really good.
So our favorite is the Nashville hot chicken.
Okay.
So it's spicy. You're gonna like spicy stuff.
I don't like spicy. Yeah, I was I don't think I'm gonna like that.
But they have regular chicken and like stuff. So
that's pretty cool. Yeah. So I want to ask you a random question. I'll put you on the spot.
All right, I'm ready.
Because you knew me at the time in college, pretty much the beginning of college. So you knew me before my study abroad to London and after. Oh my God, you found it. That was me clocking out before London, right? I think that was why we took that picture. That's amazing.
Yeah, go ahead. What was your question?
So my question is, did you notice any difference or any change between the Amy before studying abroad and the Amy that came back?
No. I didn't, I guess, honestly, I didn't really know, I don't think I had much contact with you in between though. So.
Right. Well, and I feel like I was the same person at Papa Murphy's either way. I always had fun. I don't know, was myself.
What was I can never remember what our names were.
So mine
I remember what mine was.
Yeah, mine was Annette.
Oh, Annette.
Annette, yeah. And Heather's was Madison, which is hilarious because then when she had her daughter, she named her Madison.
Yeah.
The exact
that
same.
is.
Yeah, so she loved that name.
Annette.
And then
Yes.
I can't remember.
You remember what you called me?
Stephanie? I thought I just always called you Sir Adam. Did I not?
No.
No? What did I call you?
You start calling me Thomas. So Sir Thomas.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah.
I knew there was a Sir, but oh my God.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
See, I knew we'd be able to trigger each other.
Yes. Yeah. Annette.
Oh my God.
I couldn't remember yours though. That's funny.
That's so good. Yeah, mine was Annette because I had started doing those like skating lessons downtown Muncie, and my skating coach's name was Annette, and it's like the only Annette I'd ever known. I was like, I really like that name.
Yeah. That's funny.
Do you remember Stephanie or anybody else's? I don't remember.
No.
I only remembered Heather's, probably just because she named her child after.
Yeah. No, I don't.
I'll have to ask her.
Yeah.
When I tell her happy belated birthday.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's awesome. So did you have anything else we needed to cover in your notes?
No, I think I got all of it. So.
That's great. And how are you feeling after your tea? Are you full of positive energy?
Oh yeah. I mean, I was excited coming into it, but
me too.
I should probably drink it more often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, especially if it's there on hand.
Yeah. Lauren usually does. Lauren's mug is like this. She gets one of these double mugs and puts, I think, 6 of them in there. So.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So 6 tea bags.
That's concentrated positive energy.
Yes. Yeah. So. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. Good luck. I mean, it's kind of been. It's been fun kind of watching the progression of doing different things. So
yeah. Did you see there's going to be a cruise next February?
No. What?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that.
So it's called, we just announced it. I say we because there's a travel agent, cruise planner that I'm working with that's in the British American Chamber of Commerce with me. And his name's Jeff Page. But so he had this grand idea that we could do an Amy's High Tea at Sea. Like a group of people just for our tea group, and we'll do special tea parties and a special tour, but it's like a 4-night cruise and goes to Coco Cay and Nassau and like back, which I didn't know. I've never been on a cruise, so I didn't know that cruises often have like their own island that they have something set up at, so that's what Coco Cay is.
Yeah.
Their own island with like either the watercraft side or the chill side. So have you done that before?
Yeah, I've been on one cruise.
Okay.
It was in 2007. So.
Oh yeah. Where did it go?
It was from Jacksonville, Florida to Key West to Nassau.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So of all the places that you've lived thus far, what's your favorite place?
I like it here, but I loved North Carolina. So we lived in the Raleigh area in North Carolina, and it was beautiful. It's beautiful here, but there, it was a 2-hour, hour and a half drive to the ocean. It was a couple hours from the mountains, so you could go to the Smoky Mountains. Cool. And it was right on the border of, like, if it snows, everything closes down. So
okay, that's what I was going to ask. Okay.
Yeah, so they don't get much snow, but if it does, they just close everything down. So.
That's awesome.
But it was a great side. I liked living out there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I was waiting for you to say Orlando, but.
No, I mean, I liked Orlando. I mean, it was fun. The kids were young, so we got to go to Disney when we wanted. There was always something to do. But for me, it was just, I really did get sick of the heat. I was working outside too a lot. So, you go 4 or 5 months in a row in the 90s and it's hot as heck. And it just was like, it's getting old. It's 95 again today. So.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, for me, I like the heat, but also I don't typically work outside. I mean, it's like you go from air conditioning to air conditioning, or you're on the beach or the pool where you want it to be hot.
Yeah. So, but it was fun. I mean, it's fun. There's always something to do to.
Right.
You can always find something.
Right. Yeah, so, that's true. Yeah, and I'd say probably never met him, my friend Kyle, but he was a year older than me and was at Ball State. But he actually lives down here in Madeira Beach, like over by Tampa. And
okay.
He has like an awesome beach condo, so I go.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So I have a vacation beach condo.
That's nice. Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have up until recently had a grandmother, but I have an aunt that lives in the Villages.
Oh yeah.
Up north of Orlando. So yeah, we used to go visit there fairly often.
Yeah.
But,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Well,
but we're not. I don't know how far you are from me, but I guess it might be still about 10 hours probably.
I'm guessing because if you said you're at like the northern part.
Yeah.
I feel like it was always like driving from Indiana, you'd feel like you got so close when you get to Florida, and then it was still like another 8 hours.
Yeah, because we're almost, it's like 3.5 hours to the coast of to the Gulf. So
right.
So then to get all the way down the Panhandle and all the way down, it's probably close to 10 hours, I'd imagine.
Right. Yeah. That's one thing. I don't know if you found this when you were here, but I found that people think Hoosiers are really weird for always driving to Florida.
Oh yeah.
They don't understand why we don't fly. And I'm like, I don't know. That's just what we did.
Yeah.
If you're going to Florida, you drove.
I know everybody did. I didn't know anybody who flew down there.
I didn't either. Yeah, but I guess Floridians or the people that live here now that were never from Indiana are like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
That seems dumb.
Well, I suppose. Usually you're gonna take your kids. And I don't think most families can afford to fly 4, 5, 6 people to Florida.
Right.
So.
And it's such a pain. Like I honestly would prefer driving. Like if I always had the time for the extra travel time, I would do that because you're on your own schedule. Wherever you want, like bathroom, whatever, you're not trying to like wrangle a bunch of kids. I mean, I only have one to wrangle, but it's still,
Yeah. That's, Well, it's kind of a secret, but it's possible that I restart that also. So this is the first Facebook probably will know about it, but that process of what you're talking about. So the children thing. So,
I get it.
Yeah. So.
Am I supposed to say congratulations yet, or you said?
Well, not yet. No. Okay. It's still up in the air, but we'll see.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You're crazy. You're almost out of it.
Well, yeah. It's
been enough time you've forgotten.
Yeah, kids are great, so it's I always loved I love kids, so I don't have a problem.
Well, I hope it's no secret that when you guys tried for your third child, what you were hoping for, because I use that story for like everyone I know that talks about having 2 boys.
Really?
They really want to try for a girl. I'm like, well, I had a manager.
Yeah. We were trying for our girl.
I know.
And got 2 more boys. Yeah.
Everyone's always like, oh my God.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So they're all teenagers now. You believe that?
That's nuts.
Yeah.
So what did you say? How old are the twins now?
13.
13?
Yeah, they'll be 14 October this year. So.
That's awesome. Well, I'm sure none of them remember me, but you can tell them I say hi.
Yeah,
so
probably not.
Babysitter. I don't remember.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I will.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thanks so much for being on the show. I'll do the official wrap up, and then I'll see you backstage when I stop live.
Oh, okay.
So everyone, this was Virtual Tea Time with Amy and my special guest, Adam Fritsch. Thank you again for coming. And I will check you out or see you guys all later. All right.
Bye.